And 3, 2, 1.
One.
Okay, now
we hit the button.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah, I think we hit the button. Hey, everybody, welcome back to episode 1, season 2 of
2.1.
2.1.
We're here.
Yeah, we're evolving.
Into Metapod.
It's a Metapod. When did we become a Pokemon?
I don't know. Just now. Popped in there.
As you can see, we're still goofy. We're still dads. We're still
Us.
Yeah, we have not changed. Snark is in our nature. Today we're going to be talking about how to creatively use UV resin in your diorama and mini making.
Doing cool stuff with science, kids.
Yeah, chemicals. Disclaimer. If you're going to use UV resins, make sure you're wearing gloves. You will see that I don't because I am stupid.
I will not be using gloves, but I will not be touching said resins.
You might see a cool failure as he holds the camera to watch me do stupid things. Because I'm really good at doing stupid things.
Indeed, that's the whole premise of the show.
Yeah, me doing stupid things while you watch?
And vice versa.
Great, we're jackass for paint.
Yep.
So, if you do have sensitive lungs and you have like asthma or anything, when you're using some resins, they actually give off a pretty potent odor, and I don't want you around them. I want you to put something on your face to help filter that out.
Do it outside if you can, and still wear like a mask or a respirator or something.
Something, because you can't be creative if you're on the ground holding your lungs.
Also, pets sometimes using certain chemicals or melting certain items can put off fumes that have no effect on you but can KO your animals.
Yeah.
So permanently. Be advised.
So
proceed with caution. Check your warning labels. Do not sue us.
Well, I honestly, that a lot of people who do miniatures and we deal with chemicals and think about it. We make dioramas and we're literally using a hot wire to cut into foam. Like, we're not supposed to be breathing that, but we do. I think I know what happened to us.
Oh, I know what happened to me when I was melting or warping PVC pipes into position.
That will definitely do it.
Mm-hmm.
That will do it.
And then, taking a heat gun to a pool noodle and forming a horn off of it. Yeah. But it looked really badass.
Yeah, after your lungs caught up with you. Because
it was all my coworkers too. They were all in there helping.
Of course. But of course they were helping.
Hey, this was the second most badass helmet at the running of the bulls. Not in Pamplona, the roller derby.
Either way, it works for me. You don't have to justify it. You did it. Now, a couple cool things with UV curing resins is all you really need is a flashlight that can emit light in the nanometer scale of the resin. So when you buy the resin, you look to see where it cures at, or before you go online, a lot of the times they'll tell you its curing range. The stuff we're using today, I got for the resin printers, and it's got a UV wavelength of 355 to 410 nanometers. And so basically,
what is that in freedom units?
Nanometers is a freedom unit.
Meter.
It's still, we use nanometers to measure light.
Whoa.
Everybody does. we don't have a freedom unit for that.
Spock used candles, okay?
Yeah, lumens. Candle power. That's how you also measure
I'm just being
intensity of light.
I'm just being a dick.
We can't even
same old.
We can't even take ourselves seriously.
Nope.
I'm all trying to mad dog him, and he's just sitting there going, shut up.
It's like, I didn't think the joke would go this far, okay? It's just
he wasn't prepared for steps 3 and 4. So as long as you have a flashlight or a cure box that fits in that nanometer range, you can cure UV curable resin. Now, this is one of those things where you can't just go buy a black light and be like, oh, hey, I can cure it. Not all black lights will hit that range. And UV resin won't always cure properly if you're over that range, and it won't cure at all if you're under it. So make sure that you're within that range, and it will cure. Another cool thing is you can add alcohol inks to this and mix it up, and you can get, if you use it light enough, you can range from really light blues all the way to watery blue. So you can use clear resin is going to give you, with the alcohol inks, is going to give you the most versatility. You can also use it to mend your miniatures. It's actually pretty cool. You can take a little dab, you put it on the broken part, you stick it on there, you shine the light, and you can let it go, and it's fixed. As a matter of fact, where's that miniature? I know I had it.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah.
I fixed this guy with UV resin. I mean, you can see it when I kind of tilt it. That little clear droplet is literally UV resin, but this was, well, it is again now. Ha-ha! See? It's like all that work just to get this out. That was funny. But yeah, you can take a little drop of UV resin and you can put it in there, cure it, and voila, your mini's gonna be standing better. Apparently I did not do it well enough, so I'm gonna have to redo it later.
And the difference between using this as opposed to plastic glue would be because plastic glue will actually melt the plastic and melt the other piece of plastic and then bond them. This, it does not do that. It just bridges the gap.
And it's also, one thing I use it for is mostly it's after a piece has actually been made. Because plastic glue does not do well with paint. Like if you have paint anywhere around it, it just, the whole catalytic process goes to crap. So this is kind of great to be able to just, especially if you're not using the mini or bouncing it around too much, and it's easy to maintain. You can also use it for effects like I did here. I've got little green tendrils coming out of the ground, and this dude looks like he's about ready to have himself a really bad day. You know, he's already got some slime on his hammer right there, so he's already been fighting. And I can easily just put some on the shield to make it look like he's defending with it, and voila, this whole piece will literally look like he's in that fight. It adds more a dimensional effect to your pieces, which is actually kind of nice because, you know, you see guys, you know, like this one I did because goofy, is I decided this guy needed to have like an ethereal whip for no reason. None.
A Monster Hunter sized whip that is ridiculously unwieldy.
But I mean, think about it. If you saw something like this all painted up, I actually want to paint him in some like schema now, just to give him that presence.
Stay tuned later in the season.
Yeah. And so he's now got this giant whip that he wouldn't even have in a game. But if this was being done for like a diorama, and this guy needed his whip to be like ready to go, this is kind of the way you'd want it to look. You'd want it to have that flow, that dynamicism. I don't even know if that was the right word, but it's fun of having UV resin. You can do all this really cool stuff.
Would you consider it similar to like glass blowing as far as the techniques of shaping it?
No.
Obviously not blowing, but like pulling it.
It's more of hope you can beat gravity. It literally is. You're dealing with fluid dynamics and gravity.
Okay.
Because when I was doing the whip, it was like literally I was holding it and I was literally curing it as it was dripping.
Right. But I'm like, could you say hold the light on like a little puddle of it and just pull it out?
Never tested that, and I have doubts because the UV light would be hitting that puddle, curing the puddle as you're trying to pull it up.
Okay.
So you'd be curing the whole thing. You'd be basically effectively just gluing your stick into the resin.
Okay. But like just quick off and on.
I mean, it doesn't gelatinize. Okay. So it's not like uwu glue.
It's not like taffy or anything?
It's not like uwu glue. Okay.
You
know the uwu glue trick for blood and stuff like that?
Yeah,
you mix your red with the uwu and then you can sit there and string it everywhere. Uwu glue is great for that. Like, that spastic effect. Resin doesn't have that. It doesn't get a taffy feel. It is literally cured and uncured. So like when you saw me do this particular piece, because I had to show him some of the cool bits. I made this right in front of him, and I'm going to try to do the same thing for you guys. This is basically just liquid that I'm chasing. That's all I was doing. I was chasing the drop, and you can do stuff like this, make little, colorful crystals that, or ethereal glass that you can put on a base. You can put into a diorama. There's so many things you can do with UV resin to really make everything pop.
We've got a really cool example sitting on the desk that we'll show you at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should save that for the end.
I wanted.
It looks like, just keep looking at it. It looks freaking amazing, and you don't want to. You gotta like have a climax, so to speak. What? It's like a literary thing. You have the climax, and then you have the denouement.
Well, I know those things. It's just in my brain, I'm that stupid teenager that hears
Chaz
something.
Is actually 7.
I said teenager.
Teen.
17. God damn it. I love you, bro. Dick.
I was thinking in a year, Alice Cooper will have a whole song about you.
Yeah. No, he won't. So, resin can be used for not only model making, adding extra dimensions to your based models, your dioramas, and keeping in mind that you have both, opaque and clear resins that you can use. You can literally set up an entire, a mage doing a fireball. You can, like, if you have somebody who has a resin printer.
If only I knew somebody who had a resin printer.
Oh, by the way, I happen to have one. You can literally print out fireballs in red or orange, resin, and you can attach them to your guy using a clear piece of resin that makes it look like it's actually being emitted from his hand, and then you can add stuff to it to make smoke. There's so many different ways to use resin and lighting effects to really take these miniatures that we're making and being like, wow, he's actually doing something. Because I literally took a guy who's just standing there, pretty static, to, hey, there's something going on here. Now keep in mind, you can overdo it, obviously. And one of the things that I love about UV resin and the way, I've been using it so far is there's something going on.
Yeah.
You've got this cool thing happening. You don't really know what, but your brain will sit there and start putting pieces together. Oh, he's fighting this little slime monster, and he's about ready to. Hey, if that's what that helps you make like that piece, then go nuts, man. That's for you. So we're gonna do some of the magic here. Let's make this happen. Might have to use a whole new brush. I don't like that. That's going to mess things up. So, I will use... Oh, I've already used
got another brush to ruin.
Yeah, I'm not
ruining, but like...
Really doesn't ruin the brush. I mean, I'm using the
butt end.
The tip, the non-brushing tip. So one of the things I do to create like those long tendrils, shake the resin.
What's the shelf life on the resin?
As long as you keep it away from like direct exposure from sunlight, a couple years.
Nice.
So I set this up to actually cure, and then what I do is I dip into the resin, and then I literally try to chase the drop.
It's like an icicle forming.
Yep.
It basically is.
Essentially.
Only using chemicals and light as opposed to ice and temperature. Water and temperature.
So once you get it to the point where it's, springy, you can actually dip back in. So you can keep going. And you can make this as long and add all the ends and add more resin as needed. You are not beholden to just, a specific length, So you can actually sit there and dip this and, hey, get all that. Then you can just sit here and just like straight up cure, add some meat to the strand, if you will. And once it's no longer gummy and you're able to shake it without seeing a whole lot of, like, I'm shaking it like this, and it's not kind of oozing in any one direction. Yeah. Then what I do is I take a small cup with isopropyl alcohol. You can't really see it because it's clear. And then I rinse the piece. That gets off a lot of the residue that's on the resin after it cures. There's usually a little slimy coat that kind of protects the rigid. And then with that, cap the resin since we're not using it anymore. Then what you can do is you can actually take this, snap it off, and voila, you now have a clear piece that you can be like slime dripping off of a mouth of a big monster. It could be like you can sit there and cut them at an angle, and you can stick them up in the roof in a snow cave, and then you got little icicles. You can tint it blue and kind of have it sit there, and it's just be like, crystalline teeth, juts of crystal, stuff like that.
Put it through like a silver dye in it. We make like an ore vein going through.
Or you can literally just shape it and paint it silver.
That works too.
This stuff is fully paintable and primable.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying like, you could have that like clear translucence with the dye in. The
actually,
actual...
I got to test the theory, but silver luster dust mixed in with that and cured, you could probably do that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I haven't tested a lot of these theories, and that's because I don't have
come up with it right now.
Well, no, these are all things that I've been planning for weeks. And a month or two, but I have a lot of stuff I do in a day. I don't always have a whole lot of time to just like, oh, I'm going to run to Mr. Nola's Glitter, or I'm going to run over here to Walmart.
To Mr. Nola Glitter.
I didn't even know that place, existed until recently.
Oh yeah, and it started off as like a little tiny strip mall store, and then it got the warehouse up the road.
Yeah. Have you seen? Actually, they moved their whole store.
Yeah,
the place is huge.
Yeah, it's in a former Ross.
Right. They're not even using all of it yet.
No, and I haven't been in. It's just like from the grocery store.
Well, no, I was hanging out with Chris, and he wanted to go out and he wanted to go check it out, and I was like, whoa, damn. Like, I would love to sit there and like shoot an episode in there, just so we could actually how we could use glitter to make a diorama.
Glitter. It's not just for bombs.
The NSA is going to come after us now.
For porch pirates.
Yeah.
And other things.
That X you don't like. All right, so one of the cool things
Are we ready to reveal?
Yeah, I'm going to reveal this. I don't think I should. I don't know what. Oh, whoa. I got a little bit of seepage, so I got to fix that. Oh, no. We're good. Because we can just go like this. And so another thing you can do is you can make glass.
That old-timey Coke bottle glass.
Yeah. And, since this is a ruin, it's kind of nice that, you have this glass that looks like it's been warped and melted. So I'm going to...
That just cranks your mini up to 11 right there.
So I'm gonna need you to hold the camera without yanking on the. We're gonna show you how we achieved this mess by doing this one. So all I did simply is I put my finger in here like this to create that seal so I don't have resin just flying all over the plate. That was scary.
Let's see how many of our viewers notice what went wrong.
Yep. We're going to have somebody in the comments going, ha 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 ha, the gods hate you. So,
Whack job. There we go. Okay.
so then what I do is, once I know I'm able to create a seal, I just pour a little bit of resin, and I'm not talking a whole lot, of just enough to kind of spread. And I kind of wing it up to the top there, and then I cure it just like this. Now you're going to see bubbles forming as this whole piece cures, which is perfectly normal and perfectly fine. If you're doing it like this, you're going to feel a little bit of warmth because there is a chemical reaction happening between the UV light and the resin. It could get a little warm. So what you do is you just keep shining that light on there until, you know, you've got a good cured layer. And there is a way to get rid of the bubbles, and I will show you that in a minute. And it's simply just taking it off the plastic. So what I do is I like to just like kind of immerse everything in that light. And I try to do it for about 30-40 seconds, or until I just feel like I've done enough. So now the big reveal is, see all that? Then when I take my finger out of there, all those bubbles are mostly gone, right? And we've got a good start for, you know, the glass. So what I do is I literally take my little resin dipping brush that I used, and I just start moving things around. And there we go, pop that, and pop that. So then what I do is I cure this back end. And once both sides are cured, and there's no real shifting, you've now got warped bubble glass. So this destroyed building, you could say that intense heat was involved, and because it was sitting on a corner, the heat just kind of bounced off, you know, this part and
Or just
scorched the glass.
because magic.
Yeah. So there we go. We have glass inside the model, and it literally dials up the whole piece. And that is a very simple way to add that extra dimension to your pieces and elevate most of your work through an unconventional means.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah. And I'm a little bit more familiar with the two-part epoxy resins.
The two-part epoxy resins are actually really good for things like you can dye them, like if you need to make like a water effect.
Yeah.
Like if something needs to be underwater, you can dye it, you know, a blue-green, a gentle blue-green, something that doesn't like get super crazy. And you can fill up an entire area and just use a little torch to pop the bubbles. Mm-hmm. You could effectively do the same thing with this UV resin and, you know, get the same effect and pop bubbles, but you'd end up messing up your miniature.
Yeah.
But yeah, the two-part, the AB resin is actually really good for like big fill areas. Mm-hmm. And the best part is,
if you're doing like molding stuff.
yes. There's actually ways to, like when you're curing resin and you need bubbles, you can actually go in with a long syringe needle and actually push bubbles into
Okay.
it, so that way you have that again extra layer of effect. You just got to make sure you put them down far enough that when the thing starts to cure further, it doesn't rise as much.
Right.
You don't have a whole lot of that option with this. This is kind of a flat sheet, little ribbons. You can even draw with it. Like you can take some of this resin and kind of scribble out like a little rune design or something like that and cure it. And then you can take that little bit and kind of put it on a fallen stone or. And the cool part about some of this resin is, that I enjoy is like how you have like models that actually have like runes kind of cut into some of the stone. You can actually like get like purple resin, like make translucent purple resin.
Oh,
and
use that
you can literally just do an inlay and cure it, and there you go, purple.
Yeah.
Purple runes. So yeah, that was our really quick, dirty introduction into how to use resin, why we use it, things you can use it for. All that's really required is you be creative. So, hey. So special thanks to the Save Point for letting us videotape here and letting us use their internet for everything.
Thanks to Troll Tooth Productions.
Yeah, Arntar Troll, man, making kids happy since the Dark Ages. Because their color, check them out. Troll Tooth Productions has a lot of cool stuff for kids, and they do all sorts of things to make kids happy. I think you guys would enjoy that too.
Yep. Thanks to our lovely spouses for putting up with our shenanigans.
Daily.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't stop just because we
Nope.
cut the camera.
Nope. This 24/7, baby.
Yup. So let's see, who else? What is with that fly?
He has been just the bane of
Everything
in your
today.
beard. He was in your beard just now.
Today's not my day. But, thanks to all these companies and people watching the video, man, thank you.
Yeah.
It's just because y'all are important too. It's like we're not trying to be you. Sweet Jesus fly. Attack of the fly. Nose in your beard. Oh, you missed him. I wanted to fucking take a swing too. Like, it's horrible. Like, there's no reason for this fly to be here, but...
Nope.
All right. So...
Shooting live.
Yeah.
Shooting
yeah.
live.
So, again, thank you to everybody who watched Troll Tooth Production, our wives, the Save Point.
Stay tuned next week.
Next week.
Peace out. Keep painting.
Wait, how do we stop this thing?
Wait, what button? Stop recording. Hit the stop recording button.
Yeah.
Yep.